So, Michelle, I gathered for you with what you're going through. Now, on the one hand, you're letting me know that things are pretty difficult in your life right now. You're feeling quite a bit of pressure, and feeling alone, but then with your losing some of your hair, the doctor was just telling you that it's not medical, that it's the stress that you're going through. So you know all that, but at the same time you're a little bit like, but why am I here? I don't know that I really need counseling.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just talking. I mean, I talk to my friends and stuff.
So that's like one of the reasons you kind of doubt it is you're thinking, how can talking help me? And in particular where you went was, you know, hey, I talked to my friends about this already, so I talked to people. How would this be different? I don't know you really well, and I don't know if you meant that for a question for me to answer, really, or not, but I'd like to go ahead and try to answer it. And I guess what I'd say is, first of all, I get what you mean, because if you go home this evening and one of your friends asks you, what did you do in our meeting? If you said just talk, well, that would be true. But I guess part of what I'll give you to think about is almost every friend or other one in your life that you might talk to about is either so invested in you that when you're talking to them about it, they can't in some ways really see you. They see themselves or how you are valuable to them. You've let me know enough that you do quite a bit of caretaking for others. So I would imagine as they're trying to listen to you, their mind is going to maybe way in the back of their mind, but need her to be okay for me. So that's, I think, one way that it's different, is meaning how much I can stay with what you're going through means to you. Because I care, but we're almost strangers at this point.
Well, you were right about taking care of others. I used to do it a lot more, but my husband's got a promotion and I don't see him as much. And my kids are growing up and they're doing their own thing, and I don't know, it just kind of feels like I don't have, like it doesn't feel like anybody needs me anymore.
Oh. So, okay. So I got that from something you said earlier about how much you take care of others, but I was like, now you're telling me that's one of the things that you're realizing is really changing for you. With your husband's promotion, you don't see him that much now. He doesn't seem to need you that much now. Your kids are growing up. They don't seem to need, there was something you were going to say.
Yeah. I mean, when they were younger, I would get up before school and I'd make them a nice breakfast, you know, eggs however they wanted it, you know, one always liked scrambled, the other one always liked it fried, you know, and I just wanted to do something nice for them, and then I'd make their lunch and stuff so they could have a good lunch at school. A little snack in there, like sometimes I put a little note. And And sometimes I would make my husband's lunch too, you know, kind of do the same thing, which is kind of fun, but he said he's so busy now, he doesn't eat them anymore. He can't eat lunch, he doesn't have time. And just home alone all the time.
You really brightened up when you were talking about what you did for them. You know, it seemed like it was definitely not an obligation to you, it was fun. And then when you went to, now you're just home alone, that kind of felt so desperate when you said that part.
Who am I if I'm not taking care of someone? They don't need me. Why am I? Just don't feel like I have a purpose anymore.
So part of it was not just that you lost joy in taking care of them, but you lost purpose. I'm going to be careful in the next thing I want to say, because on one hand I don't want to put words in your mouth, but on the other hand I'm going to go ahead and say it if that's what we're talking about. I got the idea because of probably just feeling how big of a deal this is to you. It's huge. That you meant you lost reason to live.
What do you mean?
Well, I guess two things. I put together, like, I think I get how hard this is for you. Like when you talk about not having them to take care of anymore, you feel kind of really wound tight. So I get that it's a big deal. And then when you said something about, like, or at least what I heard was not just that it was enjoyable to do it, but that was your purpose, that was your identity. So putting that together with some of the things for your confidential intake form, our questionnaire, what I'm starting to wonder is if you're having thoughts of hurting yourself.
Sometimes I do. My doctor prescribed me these pills to take for me to worry or anxious or upset and calm me down. And I was thinking, that I could probably also take them for I probably could take them and not hurt anymore. Take them all.
That's really hard for you to say. You hold your head down now, like really hard to say out loud, hard to admit to yourself that that's how much this change and the other difficulties of your life, that's how much it adds up, that you do think of just taking the pills to not hurt anymore.
And then I wonder if they would even care.
So that was a part of where you went thinking about it was, I guess maybe you were thinking of your husband and your kids. If you killed yourself, would they even care? Was one of your questions in your mind.
I know it's not the right thing to do. I know it would just be a quitter, and I know it's the easy way out, and sometimes it just I'm so tired of being alone.
So you have a number of things that, Michelle, as I think about this, I want most to continue to listen to you, but I realize I'm also sort of calculating how much I should be worried about you, and trying to, I mean, I think you're worried about you, so how much we both should be worried about you. When you're doing that, I heard you say a few things that maybe help keep you from it. Like you said, you don't want to be a quitter. It's wrong. Easy way out. Take me a second to recall what they were. So I think there's a part of you that, like you were saying, you just don't want to feel so lonely and alone anymore. So much that you would even think of killing yourself to not feel it. But another part of you that thinks, no, can't do that, don't want to go there, it's wrong, don't want to be see myself, or have others see me as a person that took the easy way out. So you're really kind of torn in the middle.
Yeah, makes me think about, like, my kids coming home and finding me. Terrible.
Terrible. So I get the idea that that's a powerful piece that keeps you from it. You wouldn't want them to see their mother that way. So Michelle, I want us to try to plan for your safety. I'm a little bit knowing this has to be your decision to decide to move. And I'm also knowing that a good part of you does, or at least doesn't want to die. That was that powerful part of you. You don't want your kids to find you that way. And because you're kind of undecided, you've got things that at this time make you want to maybe even kill yourself. Things that make you not want to. So what I want to see if we can do is, for longer if we can, but at the very least, let's plan for your safety between now and the next time we meet. So that way, I'm not asking you to make a decision like forever. But it'll be for a defined period of time.
What do you want me to do?
So you're willing to work with me on that? That sounds okay to you? Well, one of the things that I think we have to do is to separate you from, get the means to hurt yourself, seriously hurt yourself, away from you. So I mean, these medications were prescribed for you. So unless you help me understand otherwise, I'm just going to go on the assumption that you do need it. But one thought I have is, but you probably only need a little bit each day, right? Is there do you know what the maximum dose is for a day?
2 or 3.
You can have 2 or 3 of the pills each day.
If I need them.
Okay, so every day you don't need them. And then I gather then it's a medication, you're knowing it's a medication that you can take as needed. You don't have to take it every day, you can take it as needed up to the 2 or 3. So, the next question I would think of then, is there some way, probably somebody, that you could give your larger bottle of pills to, so that you only have as many as you might need in 1 or 2 days with you at any time? Is there anybody that you trust that way?
Tell them.
Well, I'm not sure. I get the idea that you were like, oh geez, how do you do that without telling them what's going on?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's true. I think you might have to tell them what's going on.
There is one friend that I have who having gone through a little bit. Maybe I could get her to keep them.
So I've got the idea that you were thinking it's more possible to talk with her about it because she already knows some of what you're going through. after doing that, she can keep them for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So that might work. All right, so another thing that well, it's hard for me to bring, I don't like having to bring it up, but I think I have to. On our confidential intake questionnaire, we had asked about the medications, and we also asked about alcohol use or other drug use. And you indicated that there weren't, aside from the medications you're prescribed, there aren't any other drugs, but that you do drink.
Well, I have, like a glass of wine with dinner.
And so you were telling me that's how much. It's one glass with dinner.
Not like a raging alcoholic or anything, just, sometimes just, it's nice to have a glass of wine to relax.
Yeah, I didn't mean to accuse you or anything like that. So, it's usually a glass of wine at dinner, but I gather, like you're saying, it's wine to relax. It's you actually drink more than that, right?
Sometimes. Not when the kids are around. Whenever the kids are around.
But I imagine that gets harder because they're gone more now. Do you think you could well, the reason I worry about alcohol, even if you don't necessarily drink that much, is that it lowers inhibitions. So, like if there were some things making you want to hurt yourself, some things keeping you from it, well, if you lower inhibitions with alcohol, then you're more at risk. And then the other thing I know about alcohol is it can actually make us kind of stick on a certain thought, and have a hard time like around depressing thoughts. It feels like with that first drink, it makes them less. But at least with the second drink, it makes them start to repeat in a loop,
Yeah.
You look like you know that concept, like you felt that.
Yeah.
So, so could you agree to not drink between now and when we meet again in about a week?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it was just me because I'm worried about you, but when you first answered, I thought you didn't sound very sure, and then you kind of looked up and you seemed to kind of be reassuring yourself that, yeah, you really can.
I don't need it. I don't need it.
So that's part of what helps you know that you can go without it. It's not a need. Like, you like it, it helps, but you don't need it. Well, I guess I'd say it feels like it helps because you seem to get what I was saying about it sort of makes it worse too.
Yeah.
Do you have much alcohol at the house now? So there's only one bottle there.
I could give it to my friend. She likes wine.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering too. Strange thought, but my mind was going to, well, if it's unopened, maybe it's a gift. So you look like, yeah, okay, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to have somebody who cares. It's nice to talk to somebody who cares.
I gather you're actually kind of maybe starting to look forward to the conversation with her, to reaching out for her help, to keep the pills, to have the wine as a gift.
I think so. Often enough, I've never been one to really talk about my problems with people, but she's always been a good friend, and she's told me some stuff that's embarrassing to her.
That's part of what makes it kind of okay that you can think of it in terms of, well, she has relied on you. She has told you some things that, I gather you said would be embarrassing to her, so that must mean she's trusted you to keep it just between y'all.
I always have.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, Michelle, one thought I have for you with this, both in terms of what's difficult about it and what's good about it, is, well, I don't know you really well. Not that well at all, I guess I'd say, but I have this impression of you as being this person who always has taken care of others, maybe even before your family. Maybe we'll talk about that later, but that's just maybe a guess I'm making. And so another guess I would make is that for people that have always taken care of others, sometimes it's hard to let the table be turned. Like, it's hard to be in counsel, you know, where now you're going to let the stranger try to help take care of you. Maybe a little less hard with your friend. You seem to be more kind of positive about that. But there again, I was just sort of noticing how it's going to be kind of a shift for you.
Yeah, I've always done everything on my own. I've never asked for help. Always been the strong one.
That's been like your role in the families or the groups, the strong one.
Yeah.
So let's see, we thought about, oh, I know the other thing we ought to think about. Or I can think of another thing we ought to think about is kind of when you're, like, if you start having thoughts of hurting yourself, I would want to know that. Give you the crisis hotline number. That might be the best option, or there's also the option of well, you need to talk to someone about it, I think. If the thoughts start to persist, you know, I get the feeling that you will keep yourself safe, but I'm just knowing that's going to be one of the times that it's hard. And so you'll need to do something to turn those thoughts around. And usually one of the easiest things to do is to tell somebody, whether it's a crisis hotline or it could be a friend if that worked for you. Certainly it'd be at our next meeting. What do you think? What would work for you?
Well, I wouldn't want to call my friend at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's not going to be practical sometimes.
I guess I could take that
seem okay with that, but less sure about it.
I mean, as like a last resort.
Last resort. So are there other things that might work, like easier resorts of like what helps you change your train of thought in a lot of cases?
Doing something. Working on something. Usually doing something with my hands.
Do you have any kind of projects at home? Because I'm thinking like if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you could call the crisis hotline, but if you want to try something else first, what could you do?
Well, I have this blanket I've been crocheting. I haven't worked on it in a while. And it's a gift for a family member. And I really like to finish it. Kind of nice to work on that.
So it's a gift, you like that. It has you working with your hands, so it can maybe take your mind off, kind of move your energy from your hands to your from your thoughts so much.
Yeah. I could definitely do that.
I think we're getting to a place where you're safe. And if you think so too, then I need to stop in just a few minutes today. So some of what you're going to do is contact your friend, take her the 1 bottle of wine that's at the house as a gift. Tell her more of what you're going through and ask her to keep your main bottle of pills, giving you maybe 6 at a time. You'll see her at least every other day. Well, it might not be that much if you don't need them,
Probably just need 3.
but 3 at a time. And if you start having a lot of thoughts of hurting yourself, you'll do something like the crochet project to take your mind off of it. And if that doesn't work, you'll call a crisis hotline. Is there anything else I've left out? Can you think of anything else that we ought to think about to keep you safe?
No, that's a better plan than I've ever had, so.
You feel pretty confident about it. It'll work.
Yeah, it's nice to have a plan.
So that'll be our plan between now and the next time we meet. If we schedule for about a week, you think that's reasonable? The plan's good enough for the week?
Yeah.
You seem really confident of that. All right. I guess I want to give you, because we started a while ago when we were talking about how counseling could work for you. And it seems to me that, well, you've got this plan that feels good, but it just seems to me that maybe it'd be helpful before we start if I say a little more about that. And I guess one thing that I want to say is I can give you some of our printed resources about it, but I want us to talk more about it. Just some informational resources. Typically when a person goes through a time of really great anxiety or depressed feelings, sleep will get disrupted, they'll start eating differently, stop doing some of the things that used to work for them. So there's some information pieces I can help you with, and we can figure out what of that would apply to you, makes sense to you.
Okay.
The other part I think is that what I'd want you to think of using counseling for too, besides the information part, is I have this vague impression of you, not knowing you that well yet, of you kind of at a crossroads or a turning point. You have the ways of seeing yourself and the skill sets that have worked for you to this point. And you're at a place where those skill sets aren't working for you that well now. But like most anybody would, you've continued to try those same skill sets. Well, so beyond helping with those information pieces, I think a part of what's going to help you is, like when most of us think about our problems, our difficulties in life, we think about it so far, and then it hurts. So we stop thinking that. But our mind just goes right back to the thought. So I think one of the ways you can think about what we'll do is, I want to try to help you think it all the way through. To stay with some of the difficult thoughts and some of the difficult feelings. And through that process, I think one of the things you can get is discovering or rediscovering new purposes for you, new roles for you in life, new ways that you want to see yourself. Like that sounds, you're okay with that idea anyway.
Yeah, that sounds kind of interesting.
Anything else you want to say or ask before we stop today? Let's walk out together. We'll stop here. We'll walk out together. I'll get you some of our resources, informational pieces, and we'll also I'll help be sure you get scheduled for